Hey guys, welcome back to the Hustlin' Horsepower YouTube channel. Sorry we've been out of it for the last week or two. We've had some weather, so we haven't been able to go racing. Last weekend, I went out to south of Cleveland, Ohio. That was about a 4-hour ride out there, and 2 pairs got down, and then the rain came in, so couldn't get that race off. So that one kind of sucked. That one, we're gonna find out here shortly how much of a fuel bill that was when I go to fill up the bus. That's part of racing, I guess. I wish we would have started racing as soon as the track was dry, because then there would have been a chance that there would have been enough heat in the track that when the sprinkle came in, we could have kept on racing. There would have been enough heat in the track, at least a possibility of it. But it is what it is. A little bit unfortunate because a lot of people spent a lot of fuel money to go out there, and that's racing, I guess. So, yeah. We are going to get to, I guess in this video, we'll throw in the some of the changes I made to the car. We got some new wheels on the car that hasn't been on the YouTube video yet. We have posted them in some pictures on the YouTube page, along with the Facebook page and stuff like that. We also made some changes to the rear suspension because I did lose dig or die because I didn't have the time to make that suspension change the way I had it before, because I couldn't source the parts to do it. When I built the chassis, I had to take all the bolts out, reposition them all, and then get them all back in. And that's a little bit of a task. So right now I built it on sliders so that I could just doot. It's not as easy as that, but it's more like a 10-minute job that one person can do versus sometimes it takes 25 minutes, 30 minutes to make that change previously. Now that we don't have the stacker no more. When we had the stacker, it was a whole lot easier to do it on the lift because I could position the car and stuff like that and raise up and down the lift to pitch things. And yeah, because when you're making bar changes on a ladder bar car, you're fighting when you're trying to rotate the bar angle, you're rotating the tire. So the U-joints and stuff like that are binding up because the tire's trying to rotate if the tires are on the ground. Then you have the coil over spring in the rear that's also compressing when you're lowering down or raising the deal, and you got shock settings and this and that and everything else. Makes it a little bit easier when you go to full loose on compression and rebound when you're making those changes, but that's getting into a little bit more detail that we need to put in this video right now. So yeah, I think right here, before we get into all that, I did just update the new HOLLEY software. We run HOLLEY EFI. I've been running that stuff since 2014. So I've been around it quite a bit. And they just did a new update. So it's V6 version 300. And I'm going to talk to you about a couple little things. Devin Vanderhoof goes into way more detail on it. He focuses in on doing the HOLLEY stuff. We are just drag racers. So I touch base on a little bit of everything because we do just about everything ourselves. But I'll go in here and talk about a couple little cool features that I have found in the system. If you want to go into more detail and really look over everything that's new on the car pertaining to more than just what we use in the system, go check out Devin's videos, Devin Vanderhoof on YouTube. He goes through just about everything. So some of the cool features of the new software in the HOLLEY system is you just go online and download it. But going here, you could go and see what it is in correlation to your time. It helps view it when you're tuning. It helps view it in a different manner versus the parameters that you put down in here. It shows you the kind of like the boost ramp over the time. I always run my boost ramp out way longer than the past. Usually our times are somewhere in like this region, right? But I do run it out to 10 seconds. I might make that change eventually. At least back it down to like 7 seconds or something like that, because if we make it past slower than 7 seconds, I screwed up. But I like always dragging that out there a little bit longer, just because. Go back here, and now it correlates to the boost ramp that you put in, just evenly spaced. When you go into here, the dashboard feature is new on this system, and it's pretty cool. You could organize this alphabetically when you are linked in online and stuff like that. And you could also test all your outputs. So if you want to test your injectors, you can pulse your injectors. You can pulse anything. You could pulse your solenoids. You could check your shifting. outputs and stuff like that on the ECU, which makes it extremely beneficial. This is something that I'll be doing before each race. I'll pulse the injectors, and it's not a bad idea to pulse your boost control solenoids also. I do that as I'm warming up the car. I'll let go of the trans brake and just do a data log of that stuff to make sure that the boost ramp matches my dome pressure settings. But it is a cool way that you could just do it without running the car or anything, that you could just set it through here. So that's a really nice feature coming out. Fuel Tech has had it for a while. Holly was a little bit slow on it, but it's finally here. That's pretty nice. I'd love for Holly, I've been asking them for a long time. We'll open up a data log here. Let's open up a random data log. I've been begging them to put in a couple more spots down here, because when I'm going in through my traction control, not traction control, my power management and stuff like that, I'd like to have a couple more gitches in here. Unfortunately, there's, I don't know, there's only like 12 of them or something like that. An extra 3 or 4 of them, there's room in it. I'd love to have a couple of extra spaces in here for, so I could have, converter charge pressure and a couple other things that also tie into power management instead of clicking them on and off. But toggle on, toggle off, and it actually shows you all the information in there. And that's very handy for when you're doing comparison files. You can make it blank, and then you could also go on here and you could actually, the cool thing about this one now is RPM is red, TPS is green, ignition, blah, 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 blah. That's all in here, and that's set. So now if you move stuff around, it's always that color, and you can change that color for your preference if you want to. But it's nice to have all that information in there if you need it. So the cool feature about this is when you pull it up is you can type in something like boost, and everything that's in related to boost is in there. Now if you go and you want to hide inactive, it hides everything, like all this stuff. We're not using any of that. We're not using boost by gear or nothing like that. So we get rid of all that stuff, and boom, it shows it a whole lot easier. Now you could sort it. I actually have it clicked already, but sort it alphabetically, and it makes it pretty dang nice when you're going through everything. So of course I'm over here, but yeah, you go A through Z, numbers and everything like that. It makes it a whole lot nicer for quick toggling and finding things when you're doing it. Now, if we come up to here, I've been begging them to do it for a little while, but I'd love to see another 3 or 4 units up in here when you're going through and doing our power management. There's a couple more things I'd like to be able to have on my data log in the same view, but it just is what it is. It's not there yet. So that's a quick overview of the Holly stuff. Like I said, Devin Vanderhoof goes over the whole details on that. If you have the Holly system, go check out his video. It's a lot more in detail. And also, when you go to download the new software, you can also click on download the spreadsheet or whatever you want to call it, that talks about all the changes, all the updates that they put into the new version right there. So this is right now we're on version 6. Build 300. So on the new build series, they always put out an update that says, hey, this is what changed from this build to this build, the newest firmware build on it. So that's a pretty good, pretty nice little feature in there, just so you can quick skim through it, and it'll tell you about all the details that they put in there. So for you guys that have like the new Ford 7.3 Godzilla motors and stuff like that, they put like oil pressure and fuel pressure sensors in there, so you don't have to scale it yourself. And scaling some of those sensors gets a little bit difficult at times. You got to use a manual pressure gauge and find out the voltage reading. That's one thing I'd love for Holly to do that Fuel Tech, I believe Fuel Tech does. They actually have a voltage reading for the pressure reading, so you could see if you have like a bad ground wire or a bad 5-volt signal or something like that. Because if you got a 5-volt, I've seen working on people's cars where it's supposed to be a 5-volt reference, and they got 12 volts going to it, and you're wondering why the sensor's reading high. And of course, if you catch it pretty quickly, but if they have 12 volts going to it instead of 5 volts, well, then the sensor's going to read, not going to read. It's just going to read way high. So That'd be a nice feature if they showed the actual voltage at each input and output. I don't know if they have that in this system yet or not. They might have done it in this build series. I'll have to wait until we're online to check that out. But that would be a nice feature to have in there. So guys, here we are with Straight Gangster at my buddy Donnie's place. He's got a couple cool projects and he's been in the racing stuff for quite a while. But we're going to be doing a little bit of surgery on Straight Gangster here. I think we're going to be changing some stuff around to make the rear suspension changes a little bit easier for going from those 60 foots to those slow, dirty asphalt type 60 foots. So these pieces right here are some pieces that I ordered up Monday. Yeah, Sunday night, Monday morning, about 3 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep, and I was like, you know what? It's time to do this deal. There's a change that I wanted to make at Dig or Die, but we didn't have the time with a limited crew and stuff like that to be able to knock that out after I realized after we raced and beat Tommy second round, I knew that we needed to make a suspension change, and we just didn't have time to make it. So these pieces right here are going to make that a whole lot easier. These are called serrated plates, serrated blocks, serrated plates. And right now they're set up for 5/8, and we run half-inch holes, half-inch bolts. So I'm gonna actually have to cut these in half and turn these down to like 480,000 slot in here, but that's not gonna be overly difficult. And then if I had a little bit more time or access to a mill up here in New York, I'd probably cut these down to about half that thickness because it's just not needed. But these are gonna get welded to our 4-link brackets, and they're used a lot in NASCAR type applications, but you don't see them overly common in the drag race world. But there's these pieces here that get sandwiched in there, and it'll lock the piece into place, and you'll see it all come together here shortly. But I'll put this up here so it's a little bit easier. But we'll have one up here and one up here, but it'll be adjustable in 1/4 inch increments. So this will be able to slide back and forth, and you can see how that latches in there. And once this, like right now, they lock in pretty dang good. But once this gets tightened up, it just ain't going nowhere. So I think that's going to be tonight's project. I'm guessing it's going to probably take, depending on how I'm feeling, I think we can knock this out in about 4 hours. But not exactly sure. We might head over to Detroit Hood TV's Pour Your Own Puddle race. I like racing up there, but the problem is it's a $800 trip. It's about $500 in fuel, $200 entry fee, $550 in fuel. So if we don't make it in the money, it costs us $800, and that's, even though Straight Gangster is pretty dang good, that's a pretty significant loss for only going to one race. Now, unfortunately, the prison bus, we don't have that conversion done yet. We do need to make a trip to Indiana. We're probably racing there in 2 weeks, and we'll pick up all the stuff to do the conversion down there then, like the tanks and the RV type accessories. But for right now, we're gonna get this done, and then we'll make the decision whether we go racing this weekend or not after that. And you hear that Ford coming in? That's Donnie. So I think we're gonna order up some takeout tonight. Lady Gangster, myself, Donnie, his wife. I think one of his coworkers are coming over, and we're just gonna have some fun and get some work done. Something else just showed up in the mail. Donnie just got back here, and he let us borrow his truck while we were up here for the week. We borrowed Maddy's dad's vehicle as well. But dun. Straight Gangster's been needing wheels for a long time, and yeah, these things are probably gonna look pretty damn good on the car. But we might put this at the end of the video for a little spoiler alert, because these suckers right here, they're gonna look pretty good. I think they're gonna look killer on the car. They're a little bit different. They're not the same wheels that we had on the Dirty 30, or very similar wheels to what we had on the Dirty 30, but Straight Gangster with the tinted windows and how dark it is, I think that what's in that package right there might look absolutely killer on the car. And you're gonna have to comment and let us know what your opinions are on what this thing looks like once those suckers are on there. It's been needing some real wheels for a while. The wheels that are on it right now, those suckers are freaking heavy, like heavy. And that's gonna save us a lot of weight, a lot of rotating mass, and it's gonna look way better. and I can't wait to put them on. I literally got yelled at a crossing guard for stopping at a light that has no light.
The power's out.
We have no power. So we took a detour, got some ice cream, because you can't have a hangry girlfriend. And then what else?
Your destination is on the right.
So we're gonna prepare our 24-foot trailer to get sold, and I don't know what else we're gonna do. But it's Friday afternoon, and we got no power to get any work done. So, just is what it is. So guys, you can kind of see how this is all going to play in here. These are the serrated blocks, and these are the adjustable plates. You can see that this bolt slides up and down here, but there is no slop like side to side. There's a little bit on that side, but that's because there's threads on that side. This side you can see here is nice and tight. It doesn't, it's not going to move back and forth. We don't need to run doublers because these things are super thick. Of course, we need to run a longer bolt because once this is in here, of course, the shank isn't going to be on there. So we're gonna have to go with a bolt that's about a 1 inch longer shank. Actually a little bit longer than that. Yeah, probably about an inch longer shank or so that the shank of the bolt is on the sliders here. Otherwise, if the threads are on here, these threads are going to get peened over time, and then you're going to start getting some slop in there. And you just want to make sure you avoid that at all costs. Otherwise, your suspension geometry is going to go to hell. So before I drop any more parts, we're going to get back to work. Well, guys, it's like 35 degrees in here, but I'm going to do a quick little video. Decided to paint the wing. Maddy said it would look a little bit better if we changed that up a little bit. So we painted the main foil satin black, and then we left the aluminum accents on the rear wicker bill and the side spill panels and stuff like that. And then didn't do no much up there, but look at these new wheels, looking pretty good on there. Then the front ones, dun dun dun. And then of course, maybe we'll throw it in this video, I did do the rear sliders in the back, make it so that it's adjustable, but those suckers are fitting in there pretty dang nicely. It literally makes the car look complete now, and they just look pretty killer. I'll do we'll add in a full picture here, but straight gangsters, it looks like a complete car now, and I'm liking it. So maybe we'll be racing this weekend if the weather holds off, but we'll have to see how it all plays out. And right now I'm gonna jump back in the truck because I am freezing.